again, we talked about it, leads, flat file, and, and then let's just go ahead and click on any one of those records by clicking on the name of the person.
Okay.
Yeah. And so what we see here is, and we can just dismiss that, just kind of talk. So we see we've got the name of the person. In this case, the name's not great because I don't have the last name. But then this is just stuff that I put in there. The phone number is just their general phone number. Their email address is pretty educated guess on my side.
Yeah.
So I've loaded in a lot of leads for you. Probably overkill on that side, but it doesn't matter because again, when we look at the lead itself, and I talk a little bit. This is stuff that I've scraped off their LinkedIn profile, so you don't
Yeah.
have to go out and look at that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And when again things get more advanced, we can use those things from market segmentation perspective. But right now we're right at the very beginning, so the value of it is minimal on that side of it. But what we look at up at the top, that's essentially our path, they call it. So I brought everybody in as new. So what we can do is we define new equals they're a suspect. I've done
Oh,
nothing with these guys, right?
yeah.
Other than I want to do something with them if they meet some criteria that I set for myself,
Is
right?
there another status somewhere that says that they are a suspect, or is that just because we need
Well,
to know them?
we can change the word new. This is Salesforce out of the box sales path for leads. We can
Okay.
customize this, but ultimately what we just do right now is just to say, okay, what is the definition of new? And new meaning I'm not doing any like I it's a bot list. It's a marketing list is really
Okay.
what it comes down. So new is you go to a trade show, you scan people's badges, we load them into Salesforce's leads. Those are new, right?
Okay.
We go
Yeah.
to your website and we get people to sign up for newsletters, and now we're just collecting their first name, last name, email address. They're new. What we do is we say the lead source is I don't know where it is. If you just go Control F and then just type in the word source, and we'll see if we can find the field here for you. So there, lead source, I have OGL. I could have put oil gas leads. I could have put the word bot list in there, right?
Yeah.
So we
Right.
we we
So,
we, we define the new is being I'm not doing anything with them. The source of them are from my trade show. The source are from a bot list. The source are from my website. Those types of things. Lead source is important when we look at it in the new status, right? Because we want to know where these guys came from, and it helps us with our campaigns. If somebody calls you up and says, "Hey, I'm interested in this, Christian," one is when we bring them in, if you can remember, ideally you're going to say the status of that is. So if we just go back up and let's take a look at the statuses, or we can do it from a pick list there too. It doesn't matter. So it could be like you could then make a decision on yourself. Again, you have to think about your flow, your process. We could say if somebody calls me and they're interested in something and I'm going to put them in a lead, I'm always going to pick the status of that lead being nurturing. I brought them
yeah.
in, right? And on that side of it. So there I would pick that as the status. Now it's easy for me to go in and find a list give me a list of all the leads that I'm nurturing. And that means that, it's more qualified than new is,
Yeah.
right?
Makes sense. And
And so I
con.
think that's something that that's a constant work in progress. But it is really the fundamentals of what a lead is defining what your statuses are, and then putting a lot of leads in, right? Whether it's somebody calling you or buying lists, this is a good place for us to build our foundation for outbound marketing.
For sure. For
Okay.
sure.
And then the other side. So then our goal, if we look at the path, is we bring them down the path. The last one is converted. The idea, and we won't convert this one, but let's go ahead and just. I think you have to hit save maybe, and then or cancel whatever, and then let's go to click on converted, and then go select converted status. And then what it comes in, and we won't actually convert this one, but what Salesforce is saying to you is, I got this flat file that I want to now put into a relational database. And the first thing is the parent of a relational database is the account record. So
Okay.
first we want to create an account. So then we come over here and then we search to make sure we don't do duplicates. So let's
Yeah.
go into the account and then there's Chevron USA. So I don't want you to have duplicates, so I put a bunch of oil and gas operators in there, right?
Yeah.
You might be subbing out. You might be dealing with ABC Electric Company that's actually got, or ABC Service Company that's got the contract with Chevron. So you
Yeah.
might have to create an account, right? It's,
Okay.
but I put in all the oil and gas operators and a lot of the midstream guys. So we always search first, right? Then the same thing with the contact. Is the contact there? We could search. If it's not, then we convert, we create. And then the last one is the opportunity. Does that opportunity exist? Yes or no? And if it does, then we want to, then if it exists already, all we're doing is associating a new contact to an existing opportunity, right? If
Okay.
it's a brand new opportunity, which will be 95% or 98% of all of them, then we create an opportunity. So this is they behind the scenes in Salesforce, they have this thing called Process Builder, and I think they've changed it from Process Builder. They call it Flows. It's the fundamental of what everything can be built on from an automation perspective. And this
Okay.
is an example of a flow that they give you out of the box, right?
Okay.
It's the conversion of a lead to creating 3 multiple records, an account, a contact, and an opportunity, right?
Okay.
And so that's a flow. That's the flow of the process. Behind the scenes, they're just connecting the dots
Yeah.
to make that happen.
That makes
So
sense.
so that's that. So when we look at it, so what I'm a specialist in is really like, account segmentation, contact segmentation. Let's start an email program. Let's do a webinar. Those types of things. So I work a lot in this leads side of things, right? Because our goal is to convert leads, to take them down, convert leads, convert a new lead to a lead we're having a conversation with, and then convert that conversation into a qualified opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
Make,
so that's the goal. So if we just go ahead and cancel this, and then so then when we take a look up at the top, we see leads as our flat file, and then we've got our contacts. I don't have any contacts in the system. I didn't add any. My concept of a contact is a contact should be related to an opportunity. So I
okay.
don't know who the people that you deal with on a regular basis. People that you deal with on a regular basis. So give me an example. Who's your top customer today?
Like Vest oil.
Vess. Okay. So I'm not. Let's just go. So give me an opportunity to. Hopefully, I have it in the database. Go up to the top in the middle. It's the universal search, and type in Vess, and then hit enter. Yeah, just
Okay.
hit enter. Just go ahead and hit enter, and then I
Okay.
just want to show you what it looks like. Again, on the sidebar is the all the things that are related to Vess.
Okay.
So the universal search is always, and our goal here is, so what we can see here is I've got accounts and I've got leads associated to Vess.
Yeah.
And then, but I don't, the goal is once you're using the system, you're
Yeah.
going to, when you type in Vess, you'll see contacts. Those are people that have been qualified related to an opportunity. And then you're going to have opportunities, but we don't see any of those here today. So
Yeah.
yeah, so here's all the leads. Let's go. Let's see. Maybe I found one. Luckily, go up to the universal search up at the top, and then let's type in somebody's name at Vest that you would deal with on a regular basis.
This guy over here, Colby Towns, is right
Okay,
down here.
hit enter, and then it'll click on his name. It doesn't matter. So Colby. So I think I've got him in. So now we know this is a guy we deal with as a regular. Let's go up to convert it. Let's go ahead and convert him, and then select his status. Again, we're going to check and see if Vess is in there. It is. Colby, we can check, but I know he's not there. I didn't add any leads. And we
Okay.
don't have an opportunity with him today. So if you go down to the bottom left, there's a little check mark that says we don't want to create an opportunity. But if you
Okay.
have one that you want to put in right now, we can go ahead and uncheck that and create the opportunity. What would you like to do?
Yeah, let's do this and just
Okay,
so we
yeah,
got
and then
yeah.
let's go ahead and convert it.
Okay. And then is this name always just the name of the company, or do you name this like the name of the project?
Well, I would name it as the name of the project, definitely. I always go company name first because it helps with the universal search. And then you want to think about your project. So, I might do, VES, battery, flow, oil tank monitoring, something like you want to try and be, relatively structured on naming convention if you can. And it's
Okay.
really order, right? It's like, or it could be VES, county, project, right? I mean, however you feel is the best way to do that. Yeah.
Okay. And then
Okay.
hit convert.
Convert, and then we can dismiss this. So now here's the three things that we've created. Let's just hit the X up in the top right hand corner. It may or may not be in here yet. Go up to the universal search. Type in VES. Hit enter. Just hit enter. And now on our sidebar, we can see we got an account. It says two accounts because they've, one of them is not VES. It just has the search associated with it. We still have all those leads, so we may want to nurture other people at VES, use the leads to
Yeah.
nurture them, but they're not really part of your day-to-day operations.
Yeah.
Contacts are your operations people you're dealing with on a regular basis. We have our contact, the guy we're dealing with, and we have our opportunity. That really right there is the whole goal of the CRM system, right?
Yeah.
That
He's
you
not
can come
technically
into
in
your account
contact.
and manage the entire part of the account.
Oh, here you go. He's in it. It just didn't show up as a
Yeah,
one on this
yeah,
side.
yeah. Sometimes it just takes a second. Once you click on it a couple times. So, yeah,
Yeah.
click on the opportunity. Yeah, just click on there, click on that opportunity. So, I haven't done any customization to the opportunity. Let's just hit one of the pencils there and we'll just take a look at. Oh, just before we hit that, up at the top, we have our path, they call it.
Yeah.
Same idea as a lead. Everything has an input and an output, right?
Makes sense.
So we bring it in early stage. You have to think about your definitions. Well, what does qualified mean to you, right?
Yeah.
We know it's no longer a lead. Again, I like for me, hey, the guy calls you up, Colby calls you up and says, hey, Christian, you know what? I think I got a 5 tank opportunity for you. Let's talk about it. Boom, from my mobile phone, from my email, I create my lead. It gives me a trigger. I got to follow up with these guys, right? And then
Yeah.
when I call them up, I'm like, hey, Colby, what's going on? Oh, you know what? This is what's going on. Okay, great. Output is now a qualified opportunity. Hit converted. Now we're here. And now we have to think about our path is, well, what does it mean to like in some of this stuff that might not pertain to you, and then we can change it, right? So up at
Yeah.
the top we got meet and present. Well, maybe that doesn't matter to you, right? Maybe something, a lot of times could be just quote.
Yeah. Mine would be qualified to make sure it's like, yeah, if they want something, obviously, and then send a demo is usually what we do.
Yeah. So think about this. Think like the number one takeaway from this is to think about the statuses. So a lead has a status, an opportunity has a stage, but they're both the exact workflows. They're just
Yeah.
workflows. That's all. And one they call status and one they call stage, but the output is exactly the same. So just think about those a little bit. Jot some notes down on what you think is more relevant to what you do day to day. Send them to
Okay.
me, and I can update Salesforce for you on that side of it.
Okay. Let's do
Okay,
that.
so that'll be your number one takeaway from this particular call. And then when you send it to me, I'll make the changes, and then we'll meet again, and we'll kind of go through, keep pounding through this thing. And I'm not really going to cover anything more than just orientation, what we're looking at right now. Like I've covered a lot of process stuff, but right now this whole call is just orientation. I'm not going to really talk about mass marketing and all those other things like that because it's too much in one call type of thing, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. The other thing that you could think about as a takeaway, click on one of the pens and let's take a look at, um,
Okay.
yeah, sure, we'll edit it. So the things that I look at, so close date, is pretty self-explanatory, but it's the date you think the customer is going to tell you you're going to get the project. Important, because that eventually becomes your forecast. How much
Yeah.
do I have in my funnel? 30, 60, 90. All that is built around when you think this opportunity is going to close. So,
Gotcha.
so that's important. Amount, is the amount. Description, I always like to definitely put a description in there. What the project is.
Just doing it for test.
Yeah, yeah. And then we'll go down, we'll take a look at it. So there's our stage. So wherever you think you are, and then yeah, and then again, we're going to change that. Automatically changes your probability, but you can change that any way you want. Put anything you want in there. And then next step. Every opportunity should have a next step. Call them, send them a quote, whatever you want on that side of it, right? The other thing that I want you to kind of think about here is just very, very simple is it's nice to pick a product family. So if I look at your product list, say, can I group this is product family A, product family B, product family C? We make that a pick list. And then we can just do it as a free-form text box underneath where you could put in, you have the opportunity description, you can put in a little bit more detail about the name of the
So you want me
product.
to send you a product family list?
Product family list. Let's just go with that. Yeah, yeah. And it's going to be a pick list, and it just helps you again when you're building your funnel. I got a 30, 60, 90-day funnel, $1 million in this product family, 50,000 in this one, 100,000 in this one. That's
Okay.
the objective of that.
Okay. Makes
Okay.
sense.
So what else do we have on here that we could take a look at? So let me just see. So there should be, I might have to, oh yeah. So again, over to the right, we got a contact role. That's the advantage of taking it from a lead to an account, contact, and opportunity. It automatically puts the guy's name in there you're dealing with, right?
Makes sense.
Sometimes you just, but the other thing we can do is go ahead and click on Colby's name, and then we're in his contact record, and then over on the right hand side, you see all the opportunities. What you
Yeah.
can do is over on the far right, there's a little down arrow, but just down, yeah, right there. You can, actually go up the arrow just above it, sorry. And then you can say new. So you can always create an opportunity from the contact name, and that automatically associates the contact to the opportunity,
Makes
right?
sense. Makes
Every
sense.
opportunity, so let's go ahead and click back on the opportunity name just on the right there. Every opportunity should have at least one contact and should have a next step. It should have when we think it's going to close, and we should know what stage it's at. That's the fundamental of CRM. If you get the discipline to do that, you're going to have a pipeline management tool that can be really good for you,
Yeah. It's
right?
it's 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 staying on top of this stuff
Staying
and
on top of this. And the idea behind it is create a lead and convert it, find the contact, create the opportunity. Really, like those two are your first steps always, right?
yep.
And that just depends on how you want to bring it in, right? I mean, again, because he could call you up. Colby could call you up and say, hey, man, I got 5 tanks. I need a quote on it right away. And you have an MSA with a standard price on that. Well, we don't have to bring it in as a lead,
Yep.
but if he calls you up and says, hey, man, we're thinking about putting in a bunch of tailing ponds and we've never done that before, give me a call, stick that maybe in as a lead, right? Or stick it in as an opportunity. It doesn't matter to me. It just is you just have to make the decision on what the output is. Like, what does that first stage mean, qualify, versus what does it mean over there on the lead side of things, right?
Yeah.
So it's,
So like say my qualify is, yeah, they give me a phone call or I cold call them and they're interested in doing a project.
cold call would be in a lead,
Would be a
right?
lead.
Yeah,
Let me
all those guys are new. I'm not doing anything with them. I'm calling them, and I just want to track. I cold called them.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then yeah, just like you said, so they'd be in the contacted section. Then we'd be nurturing them. Then we figure out, oh, they're unqualified or they're converted.
that's right. They're
Yeah.
unqualified or they're converted. Nurturing is, I know they're just I already got a vendor. We got an MSA with them. Call me like another day, right? I mean, it's so I'm not. I'll call them up. Hey, I've never done tank monitoring. We're in a perfume business. You're calling the wrong guy, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Unqualified.
unqualified. Get them off your list, and then we can always put that in as a filter to say, hey, we don't want to have
Yeah.
that show up again. Yeah.
Okay. And then once he's converted, he comes in here. And so this Disqualified means like he's qualified. This is a possible
It's
opportunity.
it's qualified, like he's come in again. Qualification for me is, hey Christian, you know what? We got an MSA standard price. I got a brand new battery I need to put in. Call me, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
Contact qualify. What do I want to qualify? I want to qualify the date and I want to qualify the amount, right?
Yeah,
That's what I'm qualifying, right? When is
yeah,
the project going to be implemented? How big is the project, right?
yeah,
And then I'm like, boom, okay, I got it qualified. And then again, we can simplify it at that particular point, but then eventually I'm going to have to give the guy a quote, even though I have an MSA with him. I
yeah,
may, maybe not, but most likely you do. So then, I got him the proposal in there. And then what we want to do here is, like, if you go ahead and click on the opportunities tab up at the very top of the page, and then over where it says recently viewed, there on the top left, Salesforce is all about list views. Click on the all opportunities. So we can customize these list views. We'll do that in another meeting. Your goal is, I'm super busy. I got a little bit of time to work on my stuff. I come over here and I pull a list view up. And the list view could be all my quoted opportunities. We just create a list view for that, right?
yeah.
And
Okay.
then you pull them all up. And then we don't have it here, but in our display, we put next steps in, whatever we want to see,
Got it.
whatever's good for workflow. And then you go down and say, shit, I got to call this guy, I got to call that guy. And then bang, you click on it, the guy's name's there, you mouse over him, his phone number's there, you call him up. Hey, what's going on with this project? Oh, too bad. You know what? Oil prices are down. We're going to parking lot it,
Yeah,
or we're not going to do it, or you know what? Yeah, sounds good. What we're going to do, whatever it is, change the date, change the stage. That's really what it changed the definition. Hey, it's gotten a lot bigger, it's gotten a lot smaller. Those are all things that can come out of a conversation.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And is there like automated time periods of like, okay, we converted got this guy from a lead to a contact, and now that he's a contact, um, we are, let's see here, like now he's a contact, we have this opportunity, and we proposed, and so now I want to make sure I follow up in a week after
Yeah.
the proposal. Like,
Yeah.
is there a way that we check this and it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, for sure. The easiest way is, and we'll do that on another call, we build a report and then we time base the report, right?
okay,
And then it just sends you a report and you go down and you take a look at it. The other way is we go into the back end side of it and we go to Process Builder and we build ourselves a flow, right? And but the easiest one where you are right now, we'll just build a report and have the report sent to you, an
yeah,
opportunity report, right? So, and then we just put the parameters. Saying created date is this, last modified date is this, stage is this, and then so send me the report at that particular point.
okay, yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. So we covered a lot of stuff. I'm going to record this video again. Now you're dangerous enough. Use the universal search to search accounts. One of the things I will show you real quick, click on the accounts tab, list view, go to recently viewed, click on that. And then let's just see. Anadarko Wells Drilled 2024. Let's go ahead and click on that. And then click on the second column. It's just like a spreadsheet with a filter on it. So click right on the name, Anadarko Wells Drilled 2024. So the second column, just go to the second header. There we go. Click on that one more time. There you
Right.
go. So there is all your guys in Oklahoma, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So you can just go down and say, hey, shit, I forgot about this guy, this guy. Feel free. Oh, I know somebody over there. Search to see if I've got him in there. If I don't, add him as a lead, convert him. And if you don't have an opportunity, check that little box. Start building out your contact list of the guys that are, your go-to guys that you
Yeah.
want as contacts and not leads, right?
Yeah.
And you know that because they've already been related to an opportunity that you've had with them, right?
Yeah. That's sort of.
Yeah, and then search for him first to see if I've got him in there. It's just easier because I got all that data and stuff that copies over. And then
Yeah.
if they're not, just create your own, convert them, but just don't convert them. Search for the account and don't create an opportunity unless there is one on that side of it.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So and then so you can start fooling around with contact lead to contact conversion, building out your nice qualified contact list. It's a great place to start. And then the other thing is think about those flows. send them to me, and then send me the product family list. And if we do that, then I'll fool around with that, and then we'll just figure out. I'll make the changes, and then when we get a chance to get together, then that will be our set point. We'll review flows, and then we'll review the changes that I made. Just and then you can answer any questions that we have, and then we can kind of start to talk a little bit more about it as a marketing tool. That whole
Okay.
business development side of things.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I think
Yeah.
that's a good starting point.
Yeah. Good place to start. Quote log. Opportunities equal quote log, right? So let's be, instead of an Excel spreadsheet or your email, let's get all your quotes, that are relevant into the CRM, and go from there.
Yeah. That makes sense.
All right. Awesome. Well, enjoy the rest. I'll send you this recording, and then you send me that stuff, and then we'll convene once we get it all put together here.
All right. Sounds
Okay.
good. Thanks, Pat. I
Awesome.
appreciate
Have a
it.
great day. Thanks.
Yeah, you
Happy
too.
Easter.
Bye bye.